Happy Camper Radio, episode 65. Come on, let's go camping. And for those of you who are camping out this week in your backyard, welcome to the Great American Backyard Campout. I'm Skip. I'm a happy camper, and this is the Happy Camper Radio Show. And Daniel and I are in the studio, and you know what that means.
Rain.
Daniel.
Yeah. It rained.
Yeah, it rained. It rained. And I kind of thought this was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I really did. And one of the things folks don't really understand unless you live here in the South, the Southeast, is the weather is so unpredictable, and so is the forecast.
Yeah, it is.
It just does not make any sense. We had rain in the forecast all week long. And, of course, I was eyeballing this weekend.
Right.
Because this was the weekend we were going to camp out in the backyard and take part in the Great American Backyard Campout. But remember, like I said to our listeners last week, if it rains, just camp out another day. And unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to do here.
Yep.
Because, I am not going to be hauling all my gear out there and getting it wet and then having to worry about it drying out. We'll just camp out another day. But, hey, we did have a good cookout on the patio, didn't we?
Nothing burned. Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations. Well, thank you so very much. Not everybody in this vicinity agrees. But, it certainly does happen. I've got to admit, though, I really would have looked forward to camping out in the back today.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad you didn't, because we're off to Utah tomorrow.
And you've got an early start, don't you?
Yeah, wow. And we couldn't have put up our tent anyway, even if it was perfect. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of glad. So we'll be pitching our tent another day, so that'll be fun.
You could actually pitch it in the hotel. I'm still a little twisted over that, Daniel, But, hey, we've got Deidre in the studio today, and she's keeping an eye on you, of course.
Well, yeah, someone's got to watch my back.
Well, if anything, Daniel, that came out of today, we ate good. We certainly did. And let's take a moment here to get our campfire lit right now. I am a little on the chilly side, and there's nothing, of course, better than sitting next to a fire and carrying on a good camping conversation.
So I was outside getting Deidre's iPad before the show.
Right.
And oh my gosh, the noises out there with the crickets and the chirping, I was like, oh my God, that's what I love about being outside. It's just those noises, they just knock me out.
If I was in your shoes, I would then be very hesitant about hopping a plane and heading off to some destination where there is a hotel room. You ought to be going camping, Daniel.
Well, it's kind of hard to check a tent. I think checking a tent would be $50. We probably could buy a tent for less than it would cost to check a tent.
I've got to agree with you on that. But anyway, we're glad to have you on board here with us. Our phone number is 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to your circles on Google+. Of course, accessing any one of our social media sites is very simple. All you've got to do is go to our homepage, which is www.happycamperradio.com. Make sure you click on the RSS feed button, and this way you can subscribe to the show and never miss a single episode. Daniel!
Yeah!
It's shout-out time. All right, we've got
I think people request that now. They're like, he didn't shout.
You just got an email about that recently, didn't you?
I did.
Someone scolded you for not shouting out.
I shout every time.
Okay, well, you missed the mark that time. Anyway, Daniel, hey, we've got some great listeners we want to say hello to that just signed aboard. We have Jonathan Gale over in the UK. Yeah,
he was the one that said I didn't yell.
Oh, was he? Okay, there you go.
That's for you, Jonathan.
Mark Edward Zona, Henshaw Airy, and also to Alim Quadri. They all added us to circles this past week on Google+. Thank you all so very much. We're glad to have you aboard the Happy Camper Radio family. Daniel, we heard from Gary.
Uh-oh.
Gary Sizer.
Right.
Who's been on the Appalachian Trail now for, 45 days?
I don't know.
He has actually been
A little
out,
too long.
Yeah, he
I'm
has
starting to
been out on
reconsider
the
this
trail.
Appalachian Trail thing. Maybe doing it like a month at a time.
It's actually been, Daniel, when he called, which has been about 3 or 4 days now.
Right.
It was day 45 for him. And he just entered into this part of Virginia called Woods Hole Hostel. I have no idea where that's at. But anyway, he is 621 miles along. Of course, he's a lot further up the path now.
Yeah.
Since that.
He said he does about 20 miles a day. Like that's an average for him. It took him a little while to get to that, but he's knocking that out every day.
But anyway, he did reach out to us this week, and let's hear what he had to say.
Hello, Skip. Hello, Daniel, and hello, all you happy campers out there. This is Jerry Sizer, also known as the Green Giant, calling from the Appalachian Trail. I know it's been a while since you guys have heard from me, but I haven't forgotten about you. I just wanted to let you know that I've gone through a pretty long stretch of Virginia. Yes, I'm in Virginia already, where there was no cell phone coverage of any kind, and finally got some today. Did a little bit of resupply in a town called Pearisburg, Virginia. Picked up some food, made a few phone calls, including this one, and just thought I'd check in with you guys and let you know I'm still thinking about you. 30 in, so almost a third of the way there. 45 consecutive days of camping, and I am loving it. Look forward to hearing it and download it as soon as I can, and I hope you're having a great time, and I'll keep listening. So happy camping and happy trails. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Well, Daniel, I do understand why the signal is so choppy. Keep in mind where he's at.
Yeah, I think he said he wanted to go to a hotel. That's what I heard. It got cut off for a little bit, but he said, I think I want to be at a hotel. You didn't hear that, Skip?
No, I can't say I did. Of course, you
dang.
know better than anybody around here. My hearing is not too good.
There you go.
And, I've got to... I'd be beside myself if I didn't mention that we are getting a late start recording the show tonight.
We are.
Because of a power surge that hit the area this afternoon, and I just happened to be in the studio preparing for this evening's show. And unfortunately, when we got the computer back up, it just threw everything so out of whack.
Yeah.
And I just had to get everything reset. And, I've got to congratulate Deidre because she is obviously more patient than you are when it comes to things like this.
Yeah, really patient.
Now, Daniel, next week...
Sometimes.
Before we get into today's topic, next week, sometime during the week, we are going to be podcasting. You're going to be on location. You're going to be in Utah.
Yeah.
And I will be here in the studio. Somehow we're going to make this happen. So, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Are you?
You've got a Happy Camper microphone. You've
I
got
do.
One of the good mics.
I'm just
and all
not
the
sure how
cords and all the cables and everything.
I'm just not sure how the Wi-Fi is going to go.
Well,
I'm going to have to call.
Let's play it by ear, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. Today, Daniel, I want to talk about a topic that I think you could learn something from.
Oh, could
We're going to
you?
be talking about camp showers.
What are you trying to say, Skip?
I'm trying to say that you are a spring and summertime camper.
I am. Well,
and you are engaged. Let me finish.
Okay.
You are engaged in a lot of activities.
I am.
While you are camping.
I am.
You are not like me, who takes better care of myself by sitting next to the fire, feeding the fire, eating good food. You are out there just burning up all that energy, Daniel.
But then you smell like smoke. So,
I would rather smell like smoke than what you come back smelling like. But anyway, Daniel, take a lesson from somebody who's been camping for an awful long time. This is something I really think we need to talk about.
Okay.
I really don't think it's a sensitive issue. Because the truth of the matter is, Daniel, we all want to feel clean.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Clean is good.
And I've got to admit that, it's just as important to shower at camp as it is to shower at home.
Here's the thing. Being down the south with the humidity and everything, you want to take a shower every 2 hours. It's so nasty in the summertime. So
Now,
definitely.
do you want to go on record and say that you shower every 2 hours while you're camping?
Well, I think about it. Yeah, but
And that's why everybody keeps their distance from you, too.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I'm a dirty hippie. I've got dreads and everything.
He's not that stinky, even though he does like patchouli.
Patchouli is the greatest thing in the world.
Well, the point of the matter is, if you shower, it makes you feel refreshed and clean.
It does.
All right. You will always, you're not going to always have the same luxuries at the campground as it is one of these 5-star hotels that you're going to be staying in.
Yes, I'm staying at a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
Only the best for us. Only the best, Skip.
I'm sure, because you brag about it. I wouldn't believe otherwise.
Well, good.
What you also got to keep in mind, too, is when you're showering while you're camping, you're not going to enjoy the same privacies that you would, say, if you were staying in one of those hotels or you were showering at home.
Yep.
So the good news is that just about every public and private campground you go to, you're going to find bathhouses spread out throughout the camp.
Okay.
They're not going to be not that far away from where you have your site and your tent pitched.
Okay, now here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best shower setup you've ever been to? And then I want to tell you mine.
At a campground?
Yes.
Daniel, I gotta admit, just about every campground that I have ever been to, public or private, this is one of the things that they look after and make sure is well taken care of, and very sanitary as best it possibly could be under the conditions. I can't say that I've had one that I could classify as the best, because they're all good to me.
Really? TJ, what do you think?
I walk out of there feeling refreshed and clean. And bottom line, that's it.
Okay. Let's see what you say what I
You're going to put Deidre
Well,
on the spot, aren't
Disney.
you?
Disney?
Disney has a really nice, but that KOA, was that in the New Orleans one?
Yep.
And you had basically like your own little private closed off room, and they were decent sized. You weren't touching every single wall every time you turned around.
No one saw you naked when you went out. You had your own private room, so you could walk out of the shower naked, dry off, put your clothes on, and that's what I was gonna say.
It wasn't your own private room. It was just a shower. But that in Asheville, was it? The campground where we had the rented the cabin.
Oh yeah, you had your own private restroom with everything, pretty much.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice.
It was back up away from everybody.
And sometimes the bad ones, like the toilet will be broken, or, well, see, Skip, I'm tall like you, so we have tall problems where the shower head is like a foot lower than our head, and we have to like bend our knees to get under the shower.
I don't know what campgrounds you were camping at, but I've never had that problem, Daniel.
Oh, okay.
But, I will say this, that, just every public and private campground I have been to, one of the things that they pay very careful attention to is the cleanliness of the bathhouses, which include the restrooms. Now, I do say that they're not very far away from where you pitch your tent. The one that we camped out at, the Stone Mountain Park, the bathhouse, I would say, within walking distance, maybe 3 to 4 minutes. The problem is, when you've got to go, you've got to go. And you are running up the hill to the bathhouse.
Okay,
you take your good old time when it comes to showering, but, when it comes to using the facility and you've got to go, you need to make some time.
Okay, so that shower was nice because I went in there, but the shower head, it's one of these water conservation shower heads.
What's wrong with that?
It felt like a mist. I like shower pressure. I like hard pressure on my body.
Then you need to stay home.
Well, come on, Skip.
You're not going to have those household
I'm
luxuries,
just saying,
Daniel, at
I'm
those
comparing different things. And let me, you didn't put this on the show notes, but every time you shower at a public shower, no matter where it is, always wear flip-flops. Because you can pick up some nasty fungus from those showers.
Well, that goes without saying. I believe everybody, will carry a pair of flip-flops or some sneakers or sandals to to wear.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I've seen people walking around without.
Yeah, it's
The nice thing about the showers at public and private campgrounds, it's a convenience that's included in your nightly stay. Mm-hmm. It doesn't cost you any extra money.
right.
So if you want to take a shower like morning, afternoon, and evening, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's going to provide you a hot shower anytime you're ready. And again, I've got to admit that every one that I have ever been to is very well maintained. Now, we're talking about public and private campgrounds, but what if you are wilderness camping? Totally different story, isn't it?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I haven't gotten you up to the mountains yet, Daniel, but just wait. We're going to work on that someday.
Deidre took a shower outside one time.
I did at my great uncle's house.
With a water hose?
No, a shower head.
A shower? He's got an outdoor shower head?
Yeah, he lives down in Florida, and
Okay.
they got a pool and hot tub, and there's an outdoor shower head out there.
But that's not camping.
No, it was not camping. It was not camping.
Well, if you're wilderness camping, you got to keep in mind showering is going to be what you make of it. There's no such thing in the wilderness as hot water on demand.
You'd be
It's
by a
gonna-
hot spring.
The thing you've got to realize, and I have been down this road, Daniel, so I'm speaking from experience.
Okay.
It takes physical and timely preparations to get a shower anytime that you're camping in the wilderness and you do not have the luxuries that you would otherwise have at a public or private campground or even have at home.
Uh-huh.
All right. Camping in the wilderness is not the same as camping in your public or private campground.
Right.
Regardless, campers are going to be expected to bring their own washcloths, their own towels, their own shampoo and soap, as well as certain hygiene supplies, and we all need those. Mm-hmm. Unlike the luxury hotels that you
Yes.
brag about.
Yes, if they don't have a towel warmer and heated flooring, it is just not going to happen for me.
And I guess, when you go camping, you want to bring a massage therapist along, too.
That's
a
what
dream.
Deidre's for. That's what Deidre's for.
But, unlike those hotels, Dan, the campgrounds are not going to provide them. It's going to be up to us to remember to pack accordingly anytime we go camping. Just as important as it is to pack a pair of clothes, your extra change of this and that, you're going to have to pack along your towels and your washcloths and your soap and your what have you. You're going to need those
Deodorant.
things. Deodorant.
Q-tips.
Now, bathing and showering in the wilderness. Some campers are going to go to great lengths and expenses to make this happen. I have camped with some individuals who have spent enormous amounts of money
Uh-huh.
to make sure that their showering experience, how often they want to take showers, is going to be a pleasant and a memorable one.
Memorable.
I kid you not. I have seen some portable shower stalls, Daniel, installed out in the wilderness. And wow, I say, you talk about a setup like I have. And you've got to admit, I've got a pretty elaborate setup.
It's
Anytime
a lot
I
of
go,
stuff.
it's a lot of stuff
a
there.
lot
It's a
of
lot
stuff.
of modern, as modern as it's going to get.
Right.
But, some people really go out of their way to make sure that their showering experience is going to be one that they can take home and, put it down in the books.
Right.
So, here we're going to talk about showering tents. Have you ever seen these?
No, I haven't.
Go online. You can find them in just about any camping supply store.
Okay.
They can be used for showering. They can also be used to house portable toilets.
Ooh, just what I love.
If you are not very
Can I just
keen,
dig a hole?
if you're not very keen about keeping your portable toilet inside your tent, where you may have some community camping going on.
You do that,
Yeah.
Skip? You don't do that, do you?
Community camp?
No, the toilet inside the tent.
No.
Okay,
No.
I was about to say.
But some people do.
I was about to
And
quit
some
the show right
some
then.
people spend a lot of money on those portable toilets too, because they've got all the chemicals and everything to make it smell good.
We used to have one in my parents' pop-up. I think I used it once, maybe. But yeah, we were at a. We can't help ourselves, Skip. We went to a RV park today to look at the campers and the pop-ups and everything. Again. And some of these pop-ups, you know, they've got the shower heads and the toilets and everything. And
They have outdoor showers on some of the pop-ups.
Yep, they do.
And on all the A-lines, they have the outdoor showers.
I had one on the outside of my truck camper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
okay.
certainly did. Yeah, and got an opportunity to use it on a few occasions.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, the neat thing about the showering tents, you know, they provide privacy. Whether you're taking a shower or using a toilet that you may have installed on the inside, you know,
Right.
it's great. Even out in the wilderness. You know, the price range of those showering tents, you can get a cheap one for maybe $35, and they can run as much as $150 and up.
Mm-hmm.
They're not very difficult to assemble. You can generally put it together without the assistance of somebody else, and they're very neat. And I have seen these before.
Right.
I think they're awesome if you're going to be, you know, camping in the wilderness and you just don't want to, you know, stand there exposed to all the wildlife and the bears and the eagles and everybody else.
The eagles, those pesky eagles. They're always messing with me.
Now you got to also keep in mind about water supplies. Yeah, you got to keep in mind you're going to have plenty of water on hand.
Yeah.
It's always a good idea to bring some containers with you because you will need to haul water into the campsite for the purpose of taking a shower. They make some of these containers that they're heavy plastic, they're flattened, and once you fill them up, you got a 5-gallon jug.
Yeah.
And then they shrink, and I don't know who makes them. I think there's quite a few companies that put these together. But they're, you know, if you have 3 or 4 of them on hand, great. The problem is, you know, if your water supply is a distance away from where you are camping, you're going to have to haul that water into camp. Water needs to be brought in from a public source or even possibly a lake or a stream. You should only use this water for bathing and not consuming.
Yeah.
You're going to keep in mind that the water that you're going to be using is not really safe to drink, especially if you've got it from a stream where you may have a lot of bacteria and you know, germs and everything that you don't want to ingest any of that.
You don't want to be hit with the runs on the campsite.
If you're a person like Daniel, you've got to understand that the water is going to have a limited supply. You're going to have a limited use. In other words, what I'm trying to say. Don't think that you're going to be able to stand there and get a 30-minute hot shower with the water that you haul in from the lake.
30 minutes is the minimum amount of time I take a shower. What are you talking about, Skip?
I don't expect you to be wilderness camping anytime soon.
Probably not.
And if you do, you're going to be learning a very hard lesson.
I'll just stink, I guess.
You also are going to need Daniel. You're going to need a heat source. You're going to have to heat that water up, unless, of course, you don't mind taking a cold shower.
Daniel doesn't mind.
I like cold showers. They wake me up.
You can heat the water up from your camp stove. Of course, you're going to be using fuel to do that. Have you ever seen these solar shower bags?
Yeah, I just saw it.
You fill them up and you let the sunlight warm the bag up. They run about $25. You can also use a propane powered system. I've seen these too, and this has me a little bit intrigued. They're a little costly. They can run anywhere from $100 to $300. A lot of money to take a shower.
That is a lot of money.
Requires a 1-pound propane tank, and that will heat the water on demand.
Ooh.
It also includes a little container, a 4-gallon reservoir, not much water to take a shower.
Right.
In other words, with 4 gallons, keep in mind you're going to have to drench down, lather up, and hose off, and you probably use more than 4 gallons to do that.
Yeah.
Another thing I have seen recently was this tankless water heater system. This runs about $130. It connects to a 20-pound propane tank. It requires 2 D-cell batteries to ignite the electronic ignition. And it also requires a water source. You're going to have to pump water in.
Okay.
This one, if I had to do it over, Daniel, this would be great because I could probably take a garden hose from the stream all the way up to the campsite. I just got to figure out a way to pump that water through the hose into this system, and you could have a hot shower. There you go, Daniel. There's your 30-minute hot shower.
Yeah, I like it. Now
And I'm kicking this idea around in the back of my head because I don't know for sure how often I'm going to be camping in the wilderness as I get older.
Right.
But it sure would be nice to have. There are some other options, too. Bathing in the creek or the lake.
There you go.
All right.
The way Mother Nature
Daniel,
intended.
this is not recommended.
Oh.
All right. It's unsanitary.
Oh.
It provides no hot water convenience. And it may be even unlawful in some areas.
Wait. I drink these bottled waters, Skip, and they always say they're from the mountains. They're mountain spring. And now you're telling me if I go up to the mountains and get one of those springs...
Trust me, Daniel, that water may be coming from the mountains, but it is treated. It's going to be consumable before it gets to the shelves.
What are you going to tell me next? There's no Santa Claus?
You believe that if you want. All right. In any event, you want to protect the environment too.
Yeah.
And just a couple things that I want to toss in here. Keep your soap and other chemicals away from your water source. Keep your bathing contained further inland, away from the stream, away from the lake, and you don't want to get any of those chemicals in there. And also, if you can, by all means, use biodegradable soap. You can buy them in your camping supply store also.
Lava soap.
So if you interested in showering, whether it be at the campground or out in the wilderness, there are certain ways to do it. It can be very costly to do. Yet nobody wants to walk around smelling like a fish.
Oh, is that what I smell like?
It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. All right, Daniel, we are going to go to a campground in an area that I'm quite familiar with because I used to live in this area.
Oh.
Many, many years ago, but I never did camp out at this particular campground. It is the Cayuga Campground in northwestern Pennsylvania. It is our featured campground of the week. Their season runs all the way through Monday, September the 1st, 2014. And if you really enjoy wilderness, if you enjoy a very large lake, you will really enjoy the Allegheny Reservoir. The Allegheny Reservoir, correct, in northwestern Pennsylvania. It offers countless water activities, and the water is absolutely pristine. Nice thing about this area right here, if you're in northwestern Pennsylvania, it's not very far away. The very popular Kinzua Dam, which was built in 1965, impounds the Allegheny River to form the 25-mile-long Allegheny Reservoir. Now, this creekside campground sits on Forest Hills in the Longhouse Scenic Byway, a 29-mile loop that circles the Kinzua Creek arm of the Allegheny Reservoir. Check it out on their website. Plenty of activities and amenities. Plenty of things for the kids to do. A playground, a picnic area. They've got pay telephones. You don't see too many of those anymore. Plenty of hiking, firewood, flush toilets, drinking water, boat access, beach access, and an amphitheater. One of the things you need to know before you go, they're very particular about the pets. It's a pet-friendly campground, but you got to keep your pets on a leash, and do not leave your pets unattended at the campsites under any circumstances. Purchase your firewood locally. You don't want to bring those pesky little insects into that area. Don't haul your firewood from home. Always purchase it locally and burn as much as you want right there at the campground. It's a great site. It's going to be on our homepage all this week. Check it out under the featured campground section. It's the Cayuga Campground in Pennsylvania, and it is our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And as always, if you have a campground that you would like for Daniel and I to feature on the program, definitely give me a shout here. Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Or a guy that shouts at himself.
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
Make sure you include a link to the campground website. I know both of you have got to get on an airplane early tomorrow morning.
Yep.
So I will handle all the technicalities to get this show posted. Y'all have a safe trip, and definitely come on back and tell me you purchased a tent while you were out there and went camping. Don't think it's going to happen,
We'll bring back some pictures to put on the website.
Don't forget you can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to your circles on Google+. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper, and you, my friends, can be a happy camper too. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.